My name is Claire Andrews, and I'm the author of this book, which is called Legacy. Legacy is a compilation of stories of people who came to Britain after the Second World War. These people are very diverse from the Caribbean. One thing you've got to realize is that they didn't just came here ad hoc. They were invited to help to rebuild the country, i.e. Britain, that we were taught to believe was our mother country. Having said that, I don't think, and a lot of the stories that you will hear, the British people wasn't ready for us because they didn't understand our style of living, they didn't understand us as a people. And this created a lot of resentment. Some of the things which is actually happening here today, of course, with the new migration that is coming in. But in return for this colony that this mother country has given us a status, we got to be British subjects, and we were ruled by the Queen. We were taught English. That was our language. When we arrived here, however, that status was meaningless to us. Our experiences varied, and each one have a different story to tell.
My name is Bernadine Orozco Holder from Trinidad, Arima, Trinidad. Came to this country in 1957.
Marie Octave. I'm from St. Lucia, the beautiful island of St. Lucia, in 1961.
I'm Norma Leslie, and I came to this country in October of 1960.
Well, my name is Douglas Tappan. I'm from Jamaica, and I come to England in 1953.
My maiden name was Catherine Adina Peterson, C.A.P. I came over on the 17th of August, 1953.
My name is Jonas Octave Elias Grims. I came here in the year 1960.
My name is Lynette Huber. Around the 60s, one summer came to England, came to Liverpool of all places.
I'm Jessie Stevens. I came from the island of St. Lucia. I arrived here in 1955.
My name is Monica White, and I'm from Jamaica. And I came here in 1962.
We had lots of attacks. Some of our people were beaten up. We were more or less treated like inferior. And we weren't well received.
I remember one evening, my husband and I were coming from Mile End. We got off at Shepherd's Bush Green Station, and walking down, there were these four lads on the opposite side. We didn't think anything of it until we lived at Brackenbury Gardens at the time, and as we got near to the turn in, and they crossed the road and came over. Apparently they took, my husband being darker than me, they assumed it was a black man with a white woman, and they beat him up something terrible. His jaw was broken, he was really battered and bruised, and all he was saying to me was run. There was nothing we could have done.
On one occasion, I was sitting at my desk, and there's another black girl who used to work in another office, and she was always with them, and they were talking about her all the time, and you know, and I think she had invited them to her home, and they came back and saying about how she cooked food, and the food was this smelly and all kind of thing.
I never came across anything like that in my country, and it was something new to me. I couldn't understand really what it was all about, because we're all people, you know.
I take a lot of harassment. In the bus, when you go to queue, one day one woman grabbed me by the back, and because I was in front of her, she just pulled me back and said, well, how come you in front of me? I'm supposed to be in front of you.
And I remember another Trinidad friend of ours, when she came to teach at the same school where I was, she mentioned to the other teachers, she said, you know, I never knew I was black until I came to this country. And that, those words of hers have stayed in my mind all these years.
When taking the public transportation, we were always told that we should stay at the back. And I actually recently read a book of someone's experience here who, when they went into the cinema, they were told to sit at the back, and this person had to say to them, well, I am not from America, because we weren't in that segregation situation. However, and we are British. And even though we were actually saying that we are British and we got a British passport, it did not give us any privileges.
The people who came here did not want to go to the labor market. They found it very intimidating because they kept you waiting there for ages and ages, and everybody was coming out at various intervals just to look at you. Some people told you when you rang up they had jobs. When you came there, their jobs were gone because you were black.
I come from an experience where a lot of my family and my elders who came here, they came from professional qualifications and backgrounds, and so they never replicated their lives here. They could never replicate their lives here because of racism. So when they came and were promised jobs as teachers, they didn't get jobs as teachers. They went to work in the laundries. When they came as nurses, they weren't given jobs as nurses. They were told to go and work in Transport for London.
I remember going for one job in particular, apart from anything else. I went for one job, and it wasn't anything much. It was cracking eggs in a factory. I think it was where they made cakes and bread and that sort of thing, but they wanted somebody to crack eggs. And when I went and had the interview, because my maiden surname is Chateau, which is French, the manager said to me I should put down that I am French. And I refused, so I was not given the job.
On one occasion she said to me, I was told that you have a property in Jamaica. Would you like to come in and pray with me? And then we'll do something about it because we want to go into business. And she said, sell your property, ask them to sell your property, send the money over, and ask them to buy some patty pans, and you and I can go into business and we'll make patties. I said, but I'm a trained teacher. She said, no, black women don't work in the schools in here, in Britain. I said, but I'm a fully qualified teacher from a well-renowned teacher college, state-owned teacher college. She said, get that out of your mind. Black people don't go into the schools here.
Well, the job situation was very bad. They actually laughed after us when we said that we had certain careers from home. And if you said that you were doing, myself, I used to be, I did shorthand and typing. And I think they were quite shocked to hear that we were actually educated in that field. And I know that my other colleagues who actually maybe do nursing, or there's people in the police force, they actually laugh at, because we weren't expected to be educated.
And working was hard. I work all the time in hospital, and I had to work like a slave with a piece of mat to put underneath my knees, on the floor with a scrubbing brush and a piece of cloth, floor cloth.
In terms of the housing market, it was quite clear that notices were placed all over the news agents. No blacks, no dogs, no Irish.
When you enter the room, it is marked. As soon as we ring the bell, that room is gone. Then you will see the notice on the door. No Irish, no black man, no dogs.
Oh dear. An Irish girl and I went for a job, for a flat. And I went, he said, oh no, the flat is gone. That was at Highbury, and I will never forget that experience. So then Rose went about the flat. Oh, and he was all smiles, and he, oh yes, come in and see the flat, and oh, it's beautiful. You know, but my friend, she was my friend then, and she told him where to get off, you know.
Housing was poor. That was very disillusioning as well, because we found ourselves in one room. We couldn't understand how a room could exist of a living room, a dining room, and almost a kitchen, sometimes a toilet.
Because you were accustomed to having a nice home back in the West Indies, and to find you have to live, eat, cook, sleep, everything in one room, it was a big shock. Couldn't come to terms with it for quite some time.
I lived by Brompton, opposite the Brompton Oratory. My bedroom overlooked the Brompton Oratory in South Kensington. But I was surprised to see the ancient houses. Never looked at people's head, always looked at people's feet. And I was on top, looking just only down on the head.
Who was
it? Run by Jamaicans.
Okay, all right.
A posh Jamaican name, for a well-known Jamaican name. She worked in Africa, and that's why she opened the home, that she was going to help black women. I think she was surprised to know I was a trained teacher. She thought I was one of the down and out who needed help, and she was surprised to know that my education maybe surpassed what she had. She was threatened with me.
This is Legacy 1. Legacy 2, obviously, will give you more details about some of the experience. But you must bear in mind as well that this book was not just written for the sake of reading. It was written on the premise that the people who participated were prepared to leave a legacy for their future generation, to let them remember that that was a struggle at that time.
The legacy I want to give to the young people is for them to make most of their education opportunities and to encourage them to pursue whatever it is that they set before them as challenges, and to better themselves, and to be quite honest, look for good careers, and maybe one day they too can go back to their mother country, which is from where their parents come from, because where we come from, we're not ashamed of it. I'm sure that all the island people can tell you some good tales of how they were brought up, and it would be good one day to see our grandchildren and our grandchildren start to do business there.
My advice to black, not only Jamaican, but all black children, I would ask them to respect their color, their race. Don't go about trying to make trouble, because trouble is not good.
Well, the younger generation should know some more about their history. I don't know if they teach it at schools over here. I'm not sure, I'm not aware of that. But they should. And then they will be able to understand clearly what is going on. You know, the life here and life as it was for the parents in the West Indies. I think they should do some more, or they should take it on themselves to read up their history.
I've gone through struggles, difficult days, and you can overcome it by just making up your mind to do good. Be satisfied with what you have and work hard to achieve your goal, and then you can look back with pleasure and say, there go I, by the mercies of God.
I was just at a school where there was a black headmistress, and as we were walking the corridor, she passed a young black lady, and she said to the young black lady, hold your shoulder up, why are you slouching? And this young black lady, all of 9, stood up straight. And in a sense, I saw myself in this young black lady, and I thought to myself, yes, she's our future. And there she is, she's got her role model in front of her. That's because right. This was one of the best head teachers in this borough. And her school was achieving, and about 70% of the population of that school were black children. So I'm saying to young people, do not look to the negative, do not look to the darkness, look to the light. Look and appraise and accept the contribution that your relatives have made. And if unfortunately you think you want to look further afield, then look for those people and their lives who you can get inspiration out of. So be inspired and achieve all that you have the potential to achieve.
I hope you've enjoyed the stories that you have seen and heard. It is not something just to be pushed aside or forget. It is a legacy left by the people who participate in. We want you to take this on board, and we want you to look forward to Legacy 2. This is Legacy 1. Legacy 2 will be much more intriguing.